Do you have quorum? Certainly, do you have quorum? If not, you ring the Sergeant at Arms, ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
The prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 39 and 40, at the commencement of House business, once the prayer is said and the chair taken, at least 15 members are needed to be present inside the chambers for the House to be deemed to have achieved the required quorum or number of members present for the House to commence its business. But that quorum clearly has not been achieved yet. A look at the screens that is inside the chambers. Those are countable members. However, at the entrance of the chambers, I can see more members are making their way into the chambers. So in a while, I believe we will have achieved that required quorum. And the business will, without any further delay, commence. Back to what the members will be transacting this afternoon, the 20th day of February, is that there are bills that have debate on it, or rather, or debate on them have been concluded. 3 bills lined up for consideration at the division stage. The bills, one of the bills is the Public Fundraising Appeals Bill. This is a bill that has been sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader. On your screens, that is the Majority Chief Whip, Honorable Boni Halwale, also the Senator for Kakamega County. At this point, the leadership of the House is expected to whip members to be able to get into the chambers, of course, to allow the House attain that required quorum for the House to commence its business. The allocated time for House sitting is 2:30. Can also see the clerk inside the chamber, counting on the numbers of members who are inside to see whether that quorum has been achieved. Once it's achieved, I will be able to hand it back for you to follow on the proceedings. The Public Fundraising Appeals Bill, a bill originating from the Senate, is a bill that seeks to provide for establishment of regulatory mechanisms at the national and county levels which oversee the conduct of fundraising appeals, to provide for the licensing and regulation of fundraisers, the promotion of transparency and accountability in the conduct of fundraising appeals. Well, allow me to hand you over.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Under Senators. Honourable Senators, we have a visiting council members from the Africa Colloquium of Legal Council of Parliaments. Honourable Senators, Honourable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, a visiting delegation of council members from the Africa Colloquium of Legal Council to Parliaments. The delegation is attending the Dundee meeting of the Council of the Africa Colloquium. Honourable Senators, the Africa Colloquium, I don't know whether it's the right Pronunciation of Legal Council of Parliaments is an organization that brings together legal counsel serving in parliaments in Africa at both the national and subnational levels. The objectives of the colloquium are to provide a forum principally for interaction and interlinkage between legal counsel serving the parliaments of legal services and capacity building. The Parliament of Kenya holds the Secretariat of the Africa Colloquium of Legal Counsel to Parliaments, with the Clerk of the Senate, Mr. Jeremiah Nyegenye, CBS, being the patron to the colloquium, and Director, Legal Services of the Senate, Dr. Johnson Okero, OGW, being the Secretary General of the Council. Honorable Senators, I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that you may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. 1, Ms. Isena Asu, President of the Colloquium and Council in the Parliament of Ghana. Mr. Sap Ntanda, Vice President of the Colloquium Council in the Parliament of Uganda. Mr. Hamad Fales, Director, Litigation and Legal Counsel, Parliament of Libya. Mr. J. Lassam, Deputy Director, Office of Law Clerk, Parliament of Sierra Leone. Ms. Tosco Ngumeze, Legislative Drafter, Parliament of Eswatini. And Dr. Abdulkadir Hashim, who is the translator. Honorable Senators, on our tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. Next one. Okay. I'm trying to get a legal counsel here and not Senator Sifuna, somebody else. I can see you have no competition in matters law. Who? Senator Nduro, where is she? Okay, fine. Thank you. 1 minute to welcome the visitors.
What's happening? Sorry, we apologize for that hitch in the system. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to welcome my colleagues in law of the Colloquium of Legal Counsel in parliaments across the continent. I have had a brother from Uganda, our neighbor, Libya, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and of course, you know, Honorable Speaker, I am the Senate's permanent representative to the Parliament of Eswatini. So I want to take this opportunity. I want to take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker. I say that because you, Honorable Speaker, took me along when we went for the meeting of various parliaments and their leaderships in Eswatini. And that is where I was given that honorary title. And I challenge anybody who wants to challenge me as in that position to rise up and stake their claim. But welcome to Kenya. Of course, I'm sure you followed the debate about what has happened in the African Union. We thank all of your countries for the support that you accorded Kenya in that election. And we hope that we can make our relationships as African brothers and sisters even closer. So you're welcome. I am the Senator of Nairobi. This is a city where we are in. Feel free to also enjoy and sample the hospitality of Nairobi, which I can assure you is quite as nice as the capitals. Kampala is not too bad, but I am sure Nairobi has a few things that might surprise you, my brother. So you're welcome and God bless you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Senator representing the capital city of Nairobi. Honorable Senators, we have another visiting group, visiting lecturers and students from the Kenya Medical Training College, KMTC, Imenti campus in Meru County. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon, a visiting lecturer and students from the Kenya Medical Training College, KMTC Imenti campus in Meru County. The delegation comprises 1 lecturer and 25 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. In our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. Honorable Senators, you know this is a campus in Meru County, South Imenti constituency, which I was the Member of Parliament. And I'm very proud I'm the one who started this campus 2-3 years ago. So I really want to welcome these students and wish them well, but I'll give my neighbor, the other side, Senator Kenywa, to do it for me better when you are there. I'll give you 2 minutes because of that advantage I have to sit here.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza kabisa nataka kuchukua fursa hii kuwakaribisha wanafunzi ambao wanasomea matibabu pamoja na mhadhiri walioandamana na yeye. Jambo la kwanza, tungependa kuchukua fursa hii kushukuru spika wetu kwa sababu aliona manufaa ya kuanzisha masomo ya matibabu na akaanzisha chuo hiki. Ni vizuri siku ya leo wameweza kutembea hapa ndio waweze kuona vile majadiliano yanafanywa katika bunge la Seneti. Na nataka kuwakaribisha na niwaambie mambo ya matibabu ni mambo ambayo yamepewa kipao mbele katika Jamhuri ya Kenya, kwa sababu bila matibabu itakuwa ni kazi bure. Kwa hivyo mimi changamoto ambayo ningependa kuwapatia ni ya kwamba mtie masomo mbele na muendelee na kazi nzuri hii ambayo mnaifanya. Na sio hiyo tu, hata mkiwa mnasomea matibabu, tungependa kuwaambia mnaweza kuwa viongozi kama wale walioko hapa. Na vile ambavyo spika alivyofanya, alitaka ninyi muwe na yale maono na mawazo mazuri ya kuweza kuatibu wa Kenya wote. Kwa hivyo mimi ni kuwatakia mema wakati mko hapa, mkiona mijadala inavyoendelea katika seneti hii, na mkienda nyumbani huko Meru, mseme hata sisi hapa tunamuenzi na tunampenda spika wetu. Na mkifika huko mseme hata sisi tumekubali spika chochote anachotaka. Sisi tumempatia mamlaka hapa, na nyinyi mkienda huko mmuombe na chochote kataka nyinyi mpatie. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Senator Kenywa. Senator Okiya Omtata, can you resume your seat? I have something for you. I want to address you. Honorable Senators, I have a communication to make on substantiation of facts that our Senator alleges to be true. And this is Senator Okiya Omtata. Honorable Senators, as you may recall, at the afternoon sitting of the Senate held yesterday, Wednesday, 19 February 2025, the temporary Speaker, Senator Veronica Maina, MP, directed Senator Okoiti Andrew Omtata, MP, to substantiate utterances made in the course of debate following interventions pursuant to Standing Order 1051. In the course of the debate by Senator Omtata, MP, Senator Ngonfulio Sosi, CBS MP, rose on a point of order requesting for the intervention of the Speaker for Senator Omtata, MP, to substantiate the claim that, I quote, that is why the Janjaweed can be given an office in Nairobi at the whims of an individual, and he claimed that the people of Kenya have welcomed the Janjaweed to come and run its genocidal government from Nairobi. End of quote. In the point of order, Senator Sosi MP said, I quote, I think it is important for us to be told more about this Janjaweed. I, as a representative of the people, I would like to know more about that. Have these people opened an office in Kenya? The point of order by Senator Sosi MP was supported by Senator Andy Okech, MP, who also sought intervention of the chair for Senator Umtata MP to substantiate the allegation and give clarity on whether the Janjaweed militia and established an office in Kenya. Honorable Senators, standing under 105 provides, and I quote, "A senator shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts that the senator alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such facts instantly. And two, if a senator has sufficient reason to convince the speaker that the senator is unable to substantiate the allegations instantly, the speaker shall require that such a senator substantiates the allegations not later than the next sitting day, failure to which the senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of standing under 121, disorderly conduct, unless the senator withdraws the allegations and gives a suitable apology if the speaker so requires." So Senator Umtata MP was not able to substantiate his statements pursuant to standing under 105.1 and subsequently walked out of the chamber. His exit from the chamber denied him an opportunity to make a request pursuant to standing under 105.2. Subsequently, the Speaker then directed that Senator Umtata MP, although he had exited the chamber, was required to table evidence as raised in the point of order by Senator Ososi MP and as supported by Senator Okech MP. Honorable Senators, pursuant to the directions above, I now invite Senator Okoiti Andrew Umtata MP to forthwith substantiate his claims, failure to which the senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of standing under 121. In the absence of such substantiation, the senator will be required to withdraw the statements and apologize to the Senate. Thank you. Senator Okoiti Umtata.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the opportunity to address the House. It's the mark of ultimate shame that from the chair you can pronounce a record that is not correct. Senator Khalwale contributed, we have not mentioned him. Senator Chereregei contributed, you have not mentioned him. You are giving us a sanitized version of events, and it's not that I failed to substantiate, but the House was unable to keep up with what I was saying. I gave a URL, a universal resource locator, to the information I had given. We have been given these iPads. We have got screens in this house. The taxpayer has invested a lot of money. Substantiation does not have to be by paper. Once I give a URL, it's up to the individual senators and the clerks to access the information that I've referred to through the universal resource locator. And it's shameful that you can stand there, Mr. Speaker, sir, and read a sanitized version of events. Very many senators contributed to that motion. And unless you give a correct record of what happened, I'm not going to be invited into that murky bubble in which you want this House to exist. I will not. I was not disorderly. I did substantiate, and I'm not responsible for the incapacity of anyone to access the internet. The taxpayer cannot give us gadgets in this house, invest a lot of money, and we are unable to use them. If they don't give us, we complain we don't have. We are given, we can't use. So what are we dealing with? Let us shape up. Let us wake up.
So
let us govern this country.
Have you substantiated?
Can you get the correct? If you get the correct record, I'm not taking an opportunity to mess up my record. Let's give us a proper record of the Hansard. I gave a URL. I've not seen you refer to the URL. You can even go to YouTube and see what I said. A URL is a universal resource locator. It is supposed to be in the Hansard record. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Okiomtata, you have used a very strange language to the chair.
I've gone to school.
So I request that you really substantiate that matter.
By
Can
doing
you
what?
sit down? Can you sit down? Do you know what you sent to the chair? What you have just sent? You know the chair does not stand in vain. I stood to make a communication to the Senate. And this communication is official. Right? So now you're asking me, it is shameful for the chair to stand. What do you want me to do? Because that is the tradition. The chair can only make a communication or standing. I have no option of sitting on the floor when making communication. I have no option of sitting. I should stand up and make communication. Can you first of all withdraw that? Just a minute.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think we should conduct proceedings in this House in mother tongue.
So what are you saying, Senator Mtata? Yes, Senator.
I'm just saying that you are misunderstanding me.
I will throw you out of this House, you know. You have no privilege to do whatever you want, Mr. Senator Mtata. You must respect the chair. I'm telling you, you have to. You have no option. Yes, Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, with great respect, I think that we can guide each other here. On previous occasion where somebody has doubted the record that has been read out by the Speaker, our standing orders require that the entire Hansard be produced. Because if in the event the Senator argues that in fact he did provide material, the URL that he's referring to, I personally wasn't in the House. So perhaps, Speaker...
And you know, Senator Sifuna,
yes.
I did not even come to determine what to do.
Yes.
But I was raising the disrespect to the chair. That is what I've raised.
Very well.
Because
very
I'm
well.
here also to safeguard the respect and the dignity of the House.
Very well understood.
Even I've not even come to determine what we should do with this.
Very well, Honorable Speaker. Very well understood.
And you can see it's not remorseful. I don't know. You are my friend, you know, but you are not remorseful. I have not given you that opportunity. I want to reason to Senator Enoch Wambua.
Mr. Speaker, I think we can do well by just bringing down our temperatures in the House. We are visitors, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, and just to regain the dignity of the House, I will humbly request that, Mr. Speaker, you continue the business that is before you. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let me take some time to check on something here on this URL that you provided, and I'll give some guidance later. Next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of this Senate today, the 20th of February, 2025. Being, Mr. Speaker, reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Laikipia County for the year ended 30th of June, 2024. 1. County Executive of Laikipia, County Assembly of Laikipia, County Revenue Fund, Receiver Revenue Statements, Laikipia County Revenue, County Assembly of Laikipia Car Loan and Mortgage for Members Scheme, Laikipia County Education Bursary Fund, Laikipia County Emergency Fund, Laikipia County State and Public Officers Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, County Assembly of Laikipia Car Loan and Mortgage for Staff Scheme. 11, Laikipia County Development Authority, Laikipia County Cooperative Development Revolving Fund, Laikipia County Enterprise Fund, Laikipia County Leasing Fund, Laikipia County Business Stimulus Fund, Rumuruti Municipality, Nanyuki Municipality, Nanyuki Teaching and Referral Hospital, Dol Dol Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, Nyahururu Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Nanyuki Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Laikipia County Financing Locally Led Climate Action Program for the year ended 30th of June 2023, and Mr. Speaker, reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Migori County, Migori County, for the year ended 30th of June 2024. County Executive of Migori, County Assembly of Migori, County Revenue Fund, Receiver of Revenue Statements, Migori County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Fund, Migori County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage Fund, Migori County Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund, Municipality of Rongo, Municipality of Awendo, Migori County Water Development Fund, Migori County Climate Change Fund, Migori County Referral Hospital, Oyani Sub-County Hospital, Rongo Sub-County Hospital, Awendo Sub-County Hospital, Nyamaraga Sub-County Hospital, Kegonga Sub-County Hospital, Kehanja Sub-County Hospital, Makalda Sub-County Hospital, Muhuru Sub-County Hospital, Isbania Sub-County Hospital, Odoro Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, Uriri Sub-County Hospital, and finally, Mr. Speaker, Migori County Water and Sanitation Company Limited. Mr. Speaker, I thank you, and I do lay the papers.
There is another paper to be read by Senator Aminda Kibwana, MP. Has anybody been given that assignment to do? Senator Okechi.
Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of Senator Amida Kibwana, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 20th February 2025. Report of the Senate delegation to the High-Level Political Forum, HLPF 2024, on sustainable development held in New York, United States of America, from 8th to 17th July 2024. Thank you.
Okay. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
There is a motion by a notice to be given by the chair. Someone can do it for me. Senator Mboni Karwale, give notice of that motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for allowing me to give notice of your motion. The motion being reports of the 63rd and 64th sessions of the OACPS Parliamentary Assembly and the 43rd and 1st sessions of the ACPE EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings held in Brussels, Belgium, and Luanda, Angola, respectively. That the Senate notes the reports of 1, the 63rd session of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States Parliamentary Assembly, and the 43rd session of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings that were held in Brussels, Belgium, from the 19th to the 28th of June of the year 2023. And 2, the 64th session of the Organization of African and Caribbean and Pacific States Parliamentary Assembly and the 1st session of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings that were held in Luanda, Angola, from the 17th to the 21st of February 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday the 6th December 2023 and Wednesday the 2nd October 2024, respectively. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next, Senator John Medu. Notice of motion. To give notice, Senator Kinywa.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that the Senate notes the report of the 9th Interparliamentary Union IPU Global Conference of Young Parliamentarians held in Hanoi, Vietnam, from 15 to 17 September 2023, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 5th March 2024.
Next is Senator Ali Ibrahim Loba. Proceed, Senator Miriam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Senator Ali Roba, Mr. Speaker, I beg to give a notice for the following motion, that the Senate notes the reports of the 14th ordinary session of the plenary assembly and related meetings of the Forum of the Parliament of the International Conference of the Great Lakes region, held in Livingstone, Zambia, from 5th to 19th April 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 30th May 2024. Thank you.
Next, Senator Veronica Maina. Yes, Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. This is a notice of motion on the report of the Senate delegation to the High-Level Political Forum, HLPF 2024, on sustainable development. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion of the following motion, that the Senate notes the report of the Senate delegation to the High-Level Political Forum, HLPF 2024, on sustainable development held in New York, United States of America, from 8th to 17th July 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 19th February 2025, on behalf of Senator Amida Kibwana, MP. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
But you have written that paper today. Not Wednesday, today is Thursday. Then on the table of the House today, 20th.
My apology. May
There
you
is an error in that.
may it be on the record that it has been laid today, Thursday, the 20th February 2025.
Very well. There is another notice of motion by Senator Veronica Maina. Another one by Senator Moses Kajwang. Senator Andy Okech, you can do both.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is both. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This notice of motion on the report of the parliamentary delegation to the 2024 Joint United Nations Interparliamentary Union parliamentary hearing held at the United Nations headquarters in New York, United States of America from 8th to 9th February 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion, therefore, that the Senate notes the report of the parliamentary delegation to the 2024 Joint United Nations Interparliamentary Union parliamentary hearing held at the United Nations headquarters in New York, United States of America from 8th to 9th February 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 17th September 2024. And this is on behalf of Senator Veronica Maina, MP. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion of the following motion, that the Senate notes the report of the proceedings of the Parliamentarians' Dialogue at the Africa Climate Summit 2023, held in the National Assembly Chamber, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi, on 3rd to 6th September 2023, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 2nd October 2024. And this is on behalf of Senator Moses Kajwang, MP. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Understanding order 52-1, Senator Fatuma Duro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52-1 to make statement on a matter of county-wide concern, namely the troubling events that transpired during His Excellency the President's recent visit to Isiolo County on Thursday, 6th February 2025, and the broader deterioration of governance and security in the county. Mr. Speaker, the chaos and disorder witnessed during the presidential visit were not merely spontaneous occurrences, but rather the culmination of systemic failures in security governance and administration exacerbated by deliberate action of certain county officials. These issues demand immediate national attention. Mr. Speaker, sir, first I must address the glaring security lapses that characterize the visit. The security administration demonstrated inexcusable negligence in maintaining order despite clear intelligence warnings of impending chaos. Their failures to act on available intelligence and implement proper crowd control measures raises serious questions about their competence and impartiality. The preparation for the presidential visit by the county leadership and administration was shrouded in unprecedented secrecy deliberately orchestrated to exclude legitimate stakeholders' participation. The governor of Isiolo, in a calculated move to maintain absolute control, micromanaged every aspect of the presidential schedule and programming. This turned what should have been an inclusive engagement into his political platform. Local leaders were deliberately kept in the dark about program details until the last minute. Even more disturbing Was the top county security administration denials knowledge about the planned engagement despite clear evidence of behind-the-scene coordination with the governor? The obstruction denied local leadership and community representatives their right to engage the president on pressing security and governance concerns that demand national government intervention. Mr. Speaker, sir, there is documented evidence, including a leaked video showing top county political leadership actively mobilizing individuals to cause disruptions. In Garbatula, the governor openly threatened to mobilize 5,000 people and promised that he termed brimstone fire against leaders opposing him. This threat materialized during the president's visit, where several leaders, including myself, first orchestrated heckling. Even the president himself was not spared from this organized disorder. What is particularly disturbing is the blatant selective application of justice following the event. Known individuals with documented ties to the county leadership continue to roam freely despite their clear role in orchestrating the disruptions. These individuals operate under the protection of the governor's office and remain untouchable by security agencies. Meanwhile, innocent youths, including border operators, have been arbitrarily arrested and charged with flimsy accusation of public disorder. This targeted harassment of innocent citizens, while the real perpetrators enjoy impunity, exemplifies the extent to which our local justice system has been compromised. Mr. Speaker, the county political figures who enjoy the state security protection have abused these privileges by deploying security officers to harass, intimidate, and bully Isiolo residents who oppose their leadership instead of protecting all citizens. Equally, these officers have been turned into instruments of political suppression, silencing dissenting voices through arbitrary arrest, threats, and coercion. This blatant abuse of power has created an environment of fear where citizens are hesitant to exercise their democratic rights, further deepening the governance crisis in Isiolo County. Mr. Speaker, the Isiolo County leadership has also orchestrated an artificial show of public support through a coordinated deception campaign. Individuals, both elderly and youth, who are on the county payroll are routinely paraded before the media to issue scripted press statements. This same tactic was used even during the Senate Committee Oversight visit to Isiolo. These orchestrated press conferences follow a predictable pattern where legitimate concerns about governance are raised, and these individuals deflect blame from the governor and attempt to delegitimize genuine grievances. Their purpose is not to address substantive issues, but to attack those who speak truth to power and create a false narrative about the real situation in Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, this manipulation of public perception through financial inducements and staged endorsement is nothing short of political deception aimed at evading accountability. Beyond political intimidation, Isiolo County faces systemic security failures that endanger lives and livelihoods. Cattle rustling, a life and death issue for our pastoralist communities, has been grossly mismanaged. Security officers demand bribes from victims before conducting operations, exposing entrenched corruption within security apparatus. Even more alarming, while these security officers delay responding to cattle raids, they quickly protect Jeshi Alami, a local urban gang that terrorizes residents opposing the county leadership. This selective deployment of security resources shows the law enforcement has been compromised and is being used against the people rather than for them. Mr. Speaker, Isiolo County is also witnessing an alarming rise in drug trafficking, with narcotics being sold openly in broad daylight. This is not just a small-scale substance abuse, but an organized, well-protected operation. Credible reports are linking certain political figures to the drug trade, with suspiciously amazing wealth being used to sponsor political chaos and buy-in. Families are watching helplessly as their children fall victim to the addiction, while those mandated to protect them shielded the drug traffickers instead. This toxic alliance between drug money and political power has eroded legitimate governance and compromised public institutions. I call upon investigative agencies to conduct a thorough probe into the suspicious wealth of those political actors and their potential links to drug trade. Mr. Speaker, a particularly egregious incident occurred the weekend after the President's visit. Senate oversight staff employed by the Senate and attached to my office were arbitrarily arrested and detained under fabricated charges of mobilizing goons and creating public disturbances. The irony is undeniable. While county officials were caught on video organizing 5,000 people to cause chaos, it is oversight staff under my office who were thrown into the cells without bond. This clearly exposes the arrest for what they indeed are: deliberate efforts to obstruct Senate oversight functions and intimidate those holding the county government accountable. Mr. Speaker, sir, given the gravity of these matters, I stand before this Senate to request that you direct that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission investigate the suspicious wealth fueling political unrest and insecurity in Isiolo County. Number two, National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse investigate the drug trade in Isiolo County and its links to local political network. Number three, Inspector General of Police conduct a complete overhaul of Isiolo County security apparatus to restore law and order to ensure public trust in institutions. Mr. Speaker, sir, Isiolo County is at a dangerous crossroads. An immediate intervention is imperative. We cannot allow corrupt political forces to undermine governance, security, and the rule of law. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Duro. Senator Duro, in your statement, you have tasked me to do some work, to contact EACC, to do security overhaul. So I directed that the Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations to engage that statement so that we can see how to assist Isiolo County. Once it is constituted, don't mind, it will be a pending work. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you have answered partly, but I needed your direction, understanding on the number one, that now that the committees, the ongoing reconstitution is ongoing, can you direct that since this matter of security is an urgent but important matter, that the liaison committee handles for the time being? Because when you talk about security, in your indulgence, because you have power understanding on the number one, because the reconstitution of committees might take longer as we anticipate, I can see the person who is lobbying for a chair is not even aware of what is happening. I thank you, Mr. Chair. Professor Ojienda, Sifuna handled him properly today.
Senator Chalage, you know, Liaison Committee is composed of chairs of committees. If you have not elected chairs in your respective committees, then there is no Liaison Committee. Of course, I chair Liaison and we are not meeting because I have no members. You must give me members from the committee. Senator for Nairobi.
Speaker, we are members of that committee, and whatever directive you will make, we will abide. For your information, we have elections to get the chair and the vice chair on Tuesday of next week. So by the end of the day, Tuesday, the committee will be in place with the leadership. So there is no reason not to commit any business to us.
You seem to have come with a lot of energy in that committee, so I think it will be one of the best. Yes? Okay. Is a new broom, sweep screen. A new broom sweeps green. Yes. So he's a new member of national security. Okay, Senator Nduro, I've guided accordingly. Next is Okech. You have a statement under standing on the 53-1.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. This is a request of a statement on clashes between the Kuria and Ma communities along the border of Migori and Narok counties. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the persistent clashes between the Kuria and Ma communities along the border of Migori and Narok counties at Guitembe in Migori County side and Angata Barikoi in Narok County side. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the statement, the committee should, 1, explain measures put in place by the government to bolster security in Guitembe and Angata Barikoi areas along the border of Migori and Narok counties, which have been plagued by persistent ethnic clashes between the Kuria and Ma communities. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, in the statement, the committee should inform the Senate of actions taken by the government to establish and address Kuria and Ma communities clashes and the root causes of the clashes. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, in the statement, the committee should state plans by the government to compensate families that have lost relatives and property as a result of the clashes as part of its support for peace-building efforts in the region. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tobiko.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this statement is on the rising rape cases in Magadi area, Kajiado West sub-county. Mr. Speaker, I arise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding rising rape cases in Magadi area, Kajiado West sub-county, Kajiado County, attributed to a suspect going by the name Lorgali. In the statement, the committee should establish, should establish the correct identity of the suspect, including his full name and place of origin. 2, explain the steps the government has taken to ensure the suspect behind the rape cases is apprehended and arraigned in court to face charges. 3, they should state the number of reported cases of rape and defilement in Magadi area from June 2024 to date, and outline the measures in place to support the victims in coping with the trauma. 4, and outline the preventive measures the government has implemented to curb further cases of rape and defilement in the region. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Aminda Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have 2 statements on health matters. The first statement is on the mental health and work conditions of medical interns. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the tragic death of suicide of Francis Njuki, medical intern at Thika Level 5 Hospital in November 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the incident came just 2 months after the death of Dr. Esre Mora, who until her death by suicide was a medical intern at Gatundu Level 5 Hospital in Kiambu County. This highlights the urgent need to address rising mental health, well-being, and dignity of all those who dedicate their lives to serving our nation's health. In the committee should investigate medical interns at public hospitals, especially working environment for all medical professionals, with a particular force on addressing mental health concerning the agreements for supply and lease of medical equipment to county public health facilities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the viability of agreements entered into by the Ministry of Health and county governments under the National Equipment Support Program, NESP, for supply and lease of medical equipment to county public health facilities. In the statement, the committee should disclose the names and credentials lease medical equipment to county public health facilities, explaining how the said suppliers were selected. Number 2, provide a detailed schedule of payments made by each county government under NESP in the 2024-2025 financial year, highlighting any deductions made directly from the county government's equitably share of revenue raised nationally. Number 3, explain the role of respective county governments and the Council of Governors in the negotiation and execution of a planning once delivered to the health facilities. And number 5, outline measures put in place to ensure that the agreements for supply and lease of medical equipment are financially sustainable for county governments in the long term. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
A statement under Standing Order 57.1 by the Majority Leader.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I was consulting. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise to make this statement pursuant to Standing Order 57.1, today, the 25th of February 2025. Mr. Speaker, the legislative business pending before the Senate is as follows: 53 bills, of which 41 are at the second reading and 12 are at the Committee of the Whole. 19 motions are pending conclusion. 24 petitions are pending conclusion, out of which 17 are due to reporting by the respective standing committees. 463 statements pursuant to Standing Order number 53.1 are pending conclusion. As listed in today's order paper, Mr. Speaker, orders number 10, 11, and 12. There are 3 bills awaiting division at the second reading stage. I therefore request the party whips to mobilize the prerequisite number of county delegations for the voting to be undertaken. I also request honorable senators to remain in the chamber for the same purpose. Mr. Speaker, on 25th of February, Tuesday, 2025, the Senate Business Committee will meet to consider the business for the week. The tentative business for that day will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as business indicated in the notice paper. The tentative business for the morning sitting on Wednesday, 26th February 2025, will include the schedule of questions to Cabinet Secretaries as approved by the Senate Business Committee, as well as motions. Mr. Speaker, the scheduled questions include the following. Question number 5 to the Cabinet Secretary for Health by Senator Hamida Kibwana, MP. Question number 14 to the Cabinet Secretary for Health by Senator Morango MP. Question number 5 again, the Cabinet Secretary, Minister for Health by Senator Catherine Muma MP. Question number 8 to Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Senator Eddie Okech MP. And question 9 to the Cabinet Secretary for Water and Sanitation Irrigation by Senator Daniel Maanzo, EBS MP. The tentative business for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 26 February 2025 will include business not included from the order paper for Tuesday, 25th February 2024, and also the following. A, bills at the second reading, namely the County Statistics Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2024, the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2024, the County Wards Equitable Development Bill, Senate Bills number 20 of 2024, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 27 of 2024, and the County Government's State Officers Removal from Office Procedure Bill, Senate Bills number 34 of 2024, the Creative Economy Support Bill, Senate Bills number 30 of 2024, the Livestock Protection and Sustainability Bill, Senate Bills number 32 of 2024, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 39 of 2024, the County Library Services Bill, Senate Bills number 40 of 2024, and, Mr. Speaker, the Labor, Migration and Management Bill, number 2, Bill, Senate Bills number 42 of 2024. B, Mr. Speaker, will include bills at the Committee of the Whole, namely the Early Childhood Education Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 54 of 2023, the County Public Finance Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 39 of 2023, the County Government's Elections Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 2 of 2024, the County Assembly Services Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 34 of 2023, the Local Content Bill, Senate Bills number 50 of 2023, the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 40 of 2022, and the Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 53, include motions being 1, report of the County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee on the consideration of the audit reports of the county hospitals for the financial year 2021-2022. 2, reports of the County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee on the consideration of the audit reports of the municipalities for financial years 2020, 2021, and 2021, 2022, and 2022, 2023. And 3, report of the County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the following county executive, namely Kitui, Bungoma, Embu, Baringo, Nyandarua, Garissa, Laikipia, specifically for financial year 2019-2020, and Kirinyaga, Kilifi, Kericho for the financial year 2020-2021. The fourth one, Mr. Speaker, will be the report of the County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the following county executives, Kwale and Kwale. And finally, on the
who are lined up for comments to the comments. Next on. We have. Sorry? No, after I put the sorry? No, after I put the question, then we come back to statements. Honourable Senators, this motion was concluded yesterday. African Union, AU, the Senate, and 2, as a continental body consisting of the 55 member states that make up the countries of the African continent, with the vision of presenting a dynamic force in the global arena. Aware that the African Union Commission, AUC, directed by heads of state and government from member states. Recalling that on 27th candidate for the chairperson of the goals of the African Union and its desire to participate in shaping for our. Further commending the remarkable achievement by Right Honorable Raila Odinga for emerging the run-up in the election of the chairperson of the African Union Commission on Saturday, 15 February 2025. Recognizing the need to sustain Kenya's growing prominence on the continental stage and advocacy for a more united, prosperous, self-reliant Africa in resonance with the aspirations of millions of Africans who seek to see the continent empowered to chart its own course in the global arena. Now, therefore, the Senate, number 1, expresses its profound thanks to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, EGH, for demonstrating unwavering commitment to the service of Africa by offering his candidature for the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, for his leadership in advancing Pan-African unity, for his dedication to the development and integration of the African continent, and for his distinguished attempt at the election. Senator, are you the one putting the question, or is the chair? And number 2, reckons his thanks to His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, CGH, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, for endorsing the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, EGH, as Kenya's candidate for election as the chairperson of the African Union Commission, and for coordinating the campaign in support of his candidature. And 3, reckons its congratulations to His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf on his election as the chairperson of the Commission on Saturday, 15th February 2025. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So, members, I can see Senator Professor Tom Odhiambo Jenda. Do you want to make a comment on the statements?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a statement, to make a comment on the statement. Mr. Speaker, this is a statement that has been sought today by my colleague, Senator Eddie Okech, and it touches on the interests of a very small community, but also mirrors certain activities that impact on the life of a community. In this case, Mr. Speaker, the Kuria community. The Kuria in North Ntimaru land, the land they call the land of their ancestors, Mr. Speaker, because of sporadic conflicts and invasion from the Ma community, Mr. Speaker. It is important, Mr. Speaker, that this is brought to the attention of the relevant committee, and I'm glad, Mr. Speaker, that you referred this statement to the Security Committee that shall deal with it. This, Mr. Speaker, has affected the lives of women. And, Mr. Speaker, I recall in December, Senator Eddie Okech had to take food to the area of Timbaru to leverage on the food shortages and on the inability, Mr. Speaker, of women and men to farm and feed their families. It is sad, Mr. Speaker, that, Speaker, in Angata Barikoi in Narok County, you will be surprised, Mr. Speaker, that even when these communities try to farm, they are unable to, because their crop is either harvested before it is ripe or destroyed or cows simply put into the fields, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, conflicts, and this is instructive because conflicts, for instance, between neighboring communities should be resolved. Where neighboring communities live, Mr. Speaker, and their conflicts, there must be a solution because it is these conflicts that spread and eventually become bigger and people are unable to live in peace. Mr. Speaker, I pray taken seriously, and I thank Senator Eddy for bringing this statement to the House so that we can investigate and call the security apparatus within this region. And, Mr. Speaker, where there is need or where there may be need, we may have, Mr. Speaker, as a security committee, and I'm glad my colleague, Mr. Sifuna, sits in that committee, to summon, Mr. Speaker, the county officers in charge of security in that region to explain whether it is due to complacence on the part of officers that these clashes have continued on and that communities have continued to suffer, or if there's need, Mr. Speaker, to transfer officers or have a station in these places so that we do not have these conflicts continue. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chalge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I want to support two statements. On the issue of security, Senator Eddy should be comfortable because he's seated to one of the members of National Security Committee. I hope you will seize that matter. Even ask or consult me and Senator Ojenda on the peace along the border, where we continue to maintain peace between Nandi County and Kisumu, also Senator Otsotsi, between Nandi and Vihiga, and also between Nandi and Kakamega. So we hear you, and we want to request the people of along Angata Baragoi, where Senator Ledama comes from, to continue to maintain peace. All of us are one Kenya, and I want to encourage the National Security Committee, which will be reconstituted, to find time and go and engage the great people of Angata Baragoi between the Migori and Narok County, and I hope the area senators will be available because we want one united Kenya where peace thrives in everything, because if there is no peace, there is no development. So, Speaker, secondly, I have seen and I saw in news that there is a rampant rapist in Kajiado County called by the nickname Lolgari. The Speaker, I am bringing amendment to Sexual Offences Act, such that the individual who perpetuate rape should be castrated professionally, Mr. Speaker. We should castrate. Why would we allow somebody to rape? They can procreate DNA that will give birth to rapists. So, Mr. Speaker, we should castrate. And some of us who are pastoralists, like myself, Ledama, and Senator Tobiko, we are experts in castration. We can assist how to castrate those individuals, because what is the solution? Under Sexual Offences Act, what is the solution? You see these people are taken to court, they are given a bail and bond of 100,000 shillings, and they are being left, Mr. Speaker. The rape causes not only trauma to the individual, it is a lifetime mark, Mr. Speaker. And God forbid you get a child, Mr. Speaker. And this could be young children who are being raped. I am even surprised in this town, and Senator Sifuna should listen to this, that even I'm surprised, even the mentally unstable women are pregnant. Who dares to rape a mentally unstable woman in this city, Mr. Speaker, or across the country? If that person is an animal. Because if they cannot request or woo a woman or anyway a girl, Mr. Speaker, then that person is an animal. Because we have reason. You can sit with a girl, take her on a coffee date, and convince her otherwise, Mr. Speaker. So I want to appeal. I'll be bringing number 2, Mr. Speaker, in my proposal.
Are you saying that animals do rape?
I'm not saying animals do rape, but I'm saying animalists do the needful, Mr. Speaker. I don't want to say much because you have visitors. Another proposal on Sexual Offences Act I want to propose is we must put trackers to these pedophiles and rapists, like the way they do it in Europe and America, Mr. Speaker, so that when a rapist and a pedophile person comes around, there is a signal.
Council wants to inform you, you know, you are senior.
Senior counsel today, the way he's smiling, I can agree.
Very good statement, and we should not tolerate rapists. But, Mr. Speaker, I want him to consider advising our young girls to remain pure and not to tell them that if they are approached and lured, then they should have sex before marriage. We should encourage our young girls to remain pure and not to give in to sex advances till they find their spouses. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with Senator Okongo Mugeni. He has spoken like an Adventist elder. And think Sabbath, that is a good sermon for Sabbath. We call them to be pure. Mr. Speaker, the second proposal is that we need to put trackers to these rapists, the way we have done with pedophiles in America and other countries, so that when they come around schools or come around, it should be tracked. There should be a signal, Mr. Speaker, so that we can prevent these rapist cases. And I want to challenge DCI, if these cases of abductions are happening, and they know, it is hard to look for one person, one rapist that is causing havoc, that has raped 8 women in Kajiado. It is very unfortunate. What DCI, and we give them money. DCI, must be called out and the police to ensure they track these rapists, Mr. Speaker. We don't want our women and girls to live in fear when they are going to school or they are. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of doctors, I want to say, I brought a statement about the KNH the other day. Now we have this doctor who committed suicide. I think we need to agree. There was a CBA that the government signed with the doctors. We must implement that collective bargaining agreement. Let's give our doctors and nurses and medical practitioners their right, Mr. Speaker. The reason they are committing suicide is because of harsh working environment, Mr. Speaker, where there is no gloves, there is no protection gear, PPEs, Mr. Speaker, there is no good remuneration. I have seen my brother Kebore, the CEO of Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, they have called in strike in some counties. Even I saw my classmate in Kericho calling for strike of doctors because they have not been given fair treatment and fair remuneration, Mr. Speaker. You saw, Mr. Speaker, there was a doctor who worked more than 24 hours in KNH and he died in his sleep a few months ago, Mr. Speaker. People like Dr. Desrin Mora have given all in their life. To be a doctor is not easy, Mr. Speaker, because they say God heals, but the doctor cures, Mr. Speaker. We need to stand with the professionals. Mr. Speaker, finally, I am proposing that the Senate and the Health Committee, and I hope the health members are here, let us form National Health Commission. Because there is crisis in medical sector. You go to Nandi, we have problems. You go to Nairobi, you go to National, Mr. Speaker. You go to Meru. Meru health system has collapsed. Why don't we form National Health Commission to handle human resources of medical practitioners in this country? From dentists, from gynecologists, Mr. Speaker, from psychologists, therapists, Mr. Speaker, all these medical practitioners, and give them a better package, Mr. Speaker. Because with time, if we do not fairly remunerate our doctors, they are emigrating to other countries. We will never have professionals to treat our people. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we will be emigrating most of our people from here to India. Yet we are losing revenue. What is different that India is doing that we cannot do in Kenya and treat our people, including cancer patients? Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support all this statement, and I thank you.
Next, Senator Ososi.
Speaker, I would have wished to contribute to the statement by Senator Dulo. I don't know what your position is, because I think the matter raised in that statement are very weighty. If you can allow me to comment on that.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support the statement by Senator Dulo regarding the security situation and the state of governance in Isiolo County. And in the statement, she has made reference to the events during the presidential visit to Isiolo. And in the statement, Mr. Speaker, you can clearly see there was some governance issues related to the planning of that event and the incidences that happened, which were not very good incidences to happen in a presidential event. Mr. Speaker, I want to comment on this because nearly 3 weeks ago, we had a similar incident in my county, Vihiga County, where the presidential visit happened at a place called Luanda. A market was being constructed, and a day before the presidential visit, and other people, other members of parliament there. I think this is a matter that we need to take seriously, because the office of the head of state is an office of honor, is an office that must be respected. And therefore, when we have all this manner of heckling and disorder in a presidential event, then we are clearly making this office to lose the respect it has. And Mr. Speaker, I must dare to say that the security officers were well aware of what was going to happen. They never took any action. There was no protocol in that meeting. There was no protocol in that meeting. So I think this is a matter, the incoming committee of security, where my good friend Ojenda wants to be the chair, must seize this opportunity and investigate where a president is an event where there is chaos, there is disorder, there is heckling. It never happened under Moi. It never happened under Kibaki. It never happened under Uhuru, but it's happening under William Ruto. It is because, the question is why? The committee must investigate that. They must investigate that and tell us what is happening. In Vihiga County, stalls of poor traders were demolished, and they have not been compensated to date, just because the president is coming the next day to launch a market. They had all the time to plan. They should have planned better. A governor of Vihiga County ended up being heckled because the traders thought it is him who had demolished. But it was demolished by national officials who came a day before. Mr. Speaker, this disorder must stop, and therefore I support.
What is your point? Okay, you are finished.
Mr. Speaker, understanding 105 on accuracy of facts, as the senator also reported in the police about the demolition of the stalls. Mr. Speaker, this is not a marketplace where you just make sweeping statements. We must be held accountable in our statements as leaders. And to allege that the presidential function as synonymous with heckling is not our issue, Mr. Speaker. And it is sad coming from ODM Deputy Party Leader. It is out of order, Mr. Speaker, to come and peddle lies before the House, yet he knows he should go to the police and report.
You know, Viga is...
You can see they are even heckling now.
Viga County is
and you know, Eddie, you are heckling, and we wanted to make you chair roads. Why are you heckling?
Senator Chalgay. Senator Chalgay, Viga County is ably represented by Senator Sosi. And what he is saying must be factual. You give us a lot of stories for Nandi. We don't even ask you about Nandi. So let's go to the next, Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, as a member of the Security Committee, a new member of the Security Committee, I don't think you need any sessions with the Security Committee to know why the President is being heckled across the country. That is my position. But I wanted to make comments on the statement by Senator Eddy. One of the things that I am very proud of, Honorable Speaker, as you know, is that I am SG of ODM. And in that capacity, we do have proper networks across the country to give us information. I was sitting in my office, and a young MCA called Engineer Tyson Kemege came to my office at KICC. He is a specially nominated MCA by the ODM party. Many people will tell you or try and convince you, Honorable Speaker, that ODM has no presence in Korea. That MCA is nominated by ODM party, and we have very strong support there. Honorable Speaker, if we can get our act right internally, I am sure that we can get 1 or 2 constituencies there in Korea under ODM. And Honorable Speaker, I was quite surprised that it is very easy for us sitting here in Nairobi to not even be aware that there are communities living in conflict for a very long period of time. I was actually very surprised that this dispute at the border between Narok and Migori has been going on for years. And Honorable Speaker, when he came to my office, I took the liberty Luckily for me, the senator for Migori is elected under my political party, ODM. The governor of Migori, the same. And even the women rep, although she is not elected on ODM, she is ODM adjacent. That's the term we use. And I spoke to these leaders to try and understand how is it that a conflict can run for so long under the radar, that people have lost lives. And Honorable Speaker, even as recently as a few weeks ago, is a young man who was shot by security officers because of this dispute about the use of land that has historically been used by the people of Kuria to farm. Honorable Speaker, it was quite surprising for me. And I remember assuring the Honorable Kemege that I would speak to the leadership there. I spoke to Governor Ochilo Ayako. I spoke to the Senator Eddie. He had promised to bring a petition, but I am happy that after we spoke with Eddie, he has found a faster route that will not enlabor the people of Kuria there, because they have a senator here who actually takes his work very seriously, Honorable Speaker. These people, because of the conflict down there, we were informed by Senator Eddie that in fact they have not been able to farm on their land for almost 3 seasons now. And it is quite surprising that a conflict can just fly under the radar when lives are being lost for such a long period of time. Honorable Speaker, therefore, I am very happy that the Senator has brought this matter here. I saw the effort you put in, Honorable Eddie Okech, over the holidays in December to try and assuage the situation there, because a community that has not farmed for 3 seasons was literally at the mercy of starvation. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that it may take time for us to sort out our security matters, but I am happy that there is progress. Just this afternoon, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions announced that 13 police officers and 1 officer from the NIS had actually been arraigned before a Kiambu court, charged with the abduction and murder of 2 Indian nationals and 1 Kenyan in July of 2022. And these people, or these officers, are suspected to have been members of the DCI that were part of the now disbanded SSU. Honorable Speaker, therefore, I want to encourage Kenyans, and especially the good police officers within the security forces, that it doesn't matter who puts you up to commit a crime. Those people will not be in power for long, and the arc of justice will get to you at some point. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, I want to also support the statement that has been brought by Senator Pace Tobiko on the instances of rape in Magadi and in Kajiado County. Honorable Speaker, Magadi is a place that is very close to my heart. I have spent many months in Magadi itself, because I have an uncle who used to work for the plant there before it was sold. Honorable Speaker, what is surprising, and this is something that is a universal scourge, these issues are not unique to Kajiado. I was sitting with a team of firefighters from Nairobi today, Honorable Speaker, and would you believe it, there was a complaint raised by one of the female firefighters that because of the nature of the dire situation in which the department is, there is no security at our fire stations. Honorable Speaker, we are supposed to have police officers manning these fire stations at night, armed police officers, but they are not there. So you can imagine, Honorable Speaker, you go to places like the Ruaraka fire station, there is no even gate. And you are a lady manning the control room, supposed to receive fire incident reports and to dispatch firefighters, and you're sitting there. So there is an allegation at one of the fire stations, Honorable Speaker, that one of our female firefighters was raped by a colleague, and that there are attempts within the leadership of the Nairobi County government to ensure that that perpetrator is protected. Honorable Speaker, you can imagine the sort of mess that we are in at our fire departments here in Nairobi. So in addition to the statement by Senator Tobiko, I will personally be also presenting that same statement to the committee. And the good thing is that I'm now in that committee. There will be no cover-up of that heinous crime here in Nairobi. Whoever it is that called the OCS in that particular case to drop those charges, Honorable Speaker, we must do what we must do to make sure that there is justice for both the victims in Nairobi and the victims in Kajiado. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
There is a matter I want to dispense of with it, then we can divert to comments. Today I'm a bit easy. I want to give as many members as possible to give comments. But let me first. I want to give, we had an issue with the Senator Mtata on the issue of substantiation. And he has approached me that the link he gave yesterday, the URL link is here. But he cannot confirm whether it is the actual one because he doesn't have his computer with him now, his laptop. So, Senator Omtata, next sitting, you confirm whether this is the actual link which now the Secretariat can be able to access and see whether it is the actual information that you are supposed to provide. As you may recall, at the afternoon sitting of the Senate held yesterday, Wednesday, 19 February 2025, I directed Senator Karungo Dhangwa MP to substantiate utterances made in the course of his contribution on the motion of recording to the thanks of the Senate on Kenya's attempt for the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission. The direction allows out as of a point of order by the Senator for Vihiga County, Senator Godfrey Ososi, MP, pursuant to Standing Order 105. In the point of order by Senator Godfrey Ososi, MP, Senator Karungo Dhangwa, MP, was required to substantiate the claim that, I quote, it was the prayers of Kenyans that they wanted Right Honorable Raila to come back and do what he does. Either he joins the government and they continue rooting, or he speaks for the people as he has been doing. Close of quotes. Honorable Senators, Standing Order 105 provides that 1, a senator shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts that the senator alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such facts instantly. And 2, if a senator has sufficient reason to convince the Speaker that the senator is unable to substantiate the allegations instantly, the Speaker shall require that such senator substantiates the allegations not later than the next sitting day, failure to which the senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121, disorderly conduct, unless the senator withdraws the allegations and gives a suitable apology if the Speaker so requires. Senator Karungo Dhangwa, MP, was not able to substantiate his statement as required pursuant to Standing Order 105.1, and subsequently requested the Speaker to provide the evidence at the next sitting day in accordance with Standing Order 105.2. Having acceded to the request, I directed that the Senator substantiates the allegations at the next sitting day. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 105.2, I now invite Senator Karungo Dhangwa, MP, to forthwith substantiate the claim as listed in the point of order by Senator Godfrey Ososi, MP, failure to which the senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121. In the absence of such substantiation, the senator will be required to withdraw the statements and apologize to the Senate. Thank you. Senator Karungo Dhangwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, after deliberations and understanding my role as a senator, that is oversight and representation, I understand that is what we call a fair comment, Mr. Speaker. And when I say that, I might have been, because I don't want to attract Senator Osotsi again to stand and maybe ask for more clarification. When I said, you know, I'm a Kikuyu and I come from Mount Kenya, and sometimes when you talk about, when you're speaking English, you replace L's and R's. So I meant rooting, which means mandamano, Mr. Speaker. He comes, I meant he will come and do what he does best. I said rooting, which is taking the route, taking any route to demonstrate in the streets of our capital, Mr. Speaker. So maybe if I was misunderstood, and maybe I used an L, I meant routing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
But this statement, according to the answer, it's different because you have said either Right Honorable Raila Odinga joins the government and they continue looting. Joins the government. I don't know whether you mean the government and Raila have been looting on Mandamano. I'm not sure whether that is that, but I will ask Senator Olsosi.
Senator Olsosi, maybe I just want you to understand, even when ODM is in broad-based government, they will continue making noise. You see them. We have given them chairmanship, and they're still making noise against the government. So what I'm trying to say, even if you do whatever you want to do, Mr. Speaker, they will continue demonstrating.
Time to substantiate and then...
So I meant just that, Mr. Speaker. Even if they're in government, and I'm supporting that because if you listen to Senator Sifuna today, even you listen to him yesterday, he looks uncompromisable, Mr. Speaker. Even if he is promised his people will be given chairman. Look at Senator Eddy. Senator Eddy is going to be given chairman. He's the vice chairman. And he's still asking questions to this government.
Senator Karungo, you have not substantiated your claim, unfortunately.
Mr. Speaker, I say he will join the government.
I'm not convinced as the chair that you have done that.
Yeah.
Yes, Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, when somebody is called to substantiate,
When a senator, not somebody.
Yes, when a senator is called to substantiate, they must provide something to back their claims. You cannot take us down a rabbit hole trying us to teach us English and literature. And Honorable Speaker, even me, who's not a Njuricheke elder like yourself, Honorable Speaker, can tell when somebody is being clever. You are a person who has the capacity to tell when a senator is being clever. Honorable Speaker, I want you to rule the senator for Kiambu out of order. And in fact, he's added insult to injury by the claims that he has made here, casting aspersions against members of my party, ODM, which is not something we will allow, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, Senator Sifuna.
We will not allow it. So, Honorable Speaker, please, if he has been unable to substantiate, let the law take its course. I know the senator for Kiambu has been very busy out there. In fact, we are wasting his time with him sitting here. I'm sure there is a rally somewhere in Lari, and I know how to use L and R. A rally in Lari is waiting for the senator for Kiambu. Release him to go.
So, Senator Karongo, you know, like your substantiation is very different with what I was pushing with Senator Mtata, because yours cannot be found anywhere in a newspaper or in a book that you are going to refer. So instead of opening so many fronts here, then why don't you just, if you are misunderstood, you just apologize, then we move on. And we withdraw from the answer, because I think that's gentleman enough.
Actually, Mr. Speaker, that's what I did. I just tried to say that I was misunderstood. I used an L instead of an R. And since they did not get it, Mr. Speaker, and I want to continue being friends with Senator Sifuna because I like what he's doing nowadays, I withdraw and apologize, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Let's now go back to statements. Where were we this side? Who was the last to give comments? Okay. Now let's go to Senator Joe Newton.
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to comment on the statement by Senator Hamida on the mental health of medical interns, Mr. Speaker. And this is a matter that concerns all of us, Mr. Speaker, because what is happening is that, and we have seen it during the many industrial actions taken by the medics, where we have been able to establish, Mr. Speaker, that most of these medical interns are given long hours to serve, even as their seniors, the doctors, sometimes do 1 or 2 hours, and then, of course, go to their private practice, Mr. Speaker. And this is something that could be leading to a lot of mental pressure and stress, leading even sometimes, Mr. Speaker, to suicide cases. Mr. Speaker, I think once the Committee on Health then undertakes the job that it is going to do while looking at this particular matter, Mr. Speaker, I think even the remuneration of these medical interns should be looked into. The hours that they put in, Mr. Speaker, and the committee then should be able to give recommendations as requested by Senator Hamida, because, Mr. Speaker, it takes 7 years, I think 6 years to train a medical doctor at the university, Mr. Speaker, while the other degree courses take 4 years. Mr. Speaker, these are people who put in a lot of time, academic time. They are people that the government and the various hospitals need to recognize by paying well, Mr. Speaker. These are a group of people, again, those that are admitted to take medicine are the top cream in every academic year, Mr. Speaker. And these are not people then that we should pay peanuts and give them, long hours of service. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that this House should take very seriously because, again, these are the people that we entrust our health to. If they are going to offer their services to us, because, of course, anybody can get ill, Mr. Speaker, if they will offer their services to us while under stress, while not comfortable with where they live, what they eat, and the kind of lifestyle that they lead, Mr. Speaker, then everybody, every Kenyan that is seeking medical services from these interns, who basically are the ones that we're going to find in every hospital any hour, will also be at risk, Mr. Speaker. And so, when we speak for these medical interns, Mr. Speaker, we are speaking also for our interests, ourselves, our families, and indeed every other Kenyan, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, while at it, we may want the health committee, the Senate Committee on Health, Mr. Speaker, we're looking at this matter to also look at the training of these particular, of medical students, Mr. Speaker, because everyone knows that previously we had, or universities across the country used to admit a very small number of medical interns, or of medical students, Mr. Speaker, which has changed over time. So probably the committee should also concern itself with the fact, wanting to see what universities are doing with the increased numbers of students that are taking medical courses, Mr. Speaker. And so it is something that the Committee on Health should look into broadly and, Mr. Speaker, give a very comprehensive statement on this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I want to give maybe one more Senate this end and one this other side. There are requests by some colleagues here that they have flight at 5:30 to Marindi and Mombasa. So I want us to manage time. Just a few minutes, 2 minutes, Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make some comments on 2 statements. One, briefly on the statement brought by Senator Peris Tobiko on the GBV cases in Kajiado County. Mr. Speaker, it is imperative that all of us should be concerned about GBV cases. When you find that for the last 3 months, 7 women have been raped in Magadi, it is something which you should be worried about. And to make matters worse, yesterday, one of the rapists who was arrested by the police was actually released on bail by the courts. So it is now upon us in Parliament to try and figure out how we are going to address this issue of GBV. We may need to look at the law. We know that everyone has a right to bail, even murder cases. But I think now, Senior Councillor Ojenda and Senior Councillor Mogeni, we need to start thinking about how to address such issues. Because in other countries, people are even held without trial. This thing is something which is affecting our own children, affecting our own mothers. It is imperative that we do this. This is something which is scaring our women of the Maasai community in Magadi, in Kajiado. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to comment on the statement brought by Senator, my very good friend, Eddie Okech. Eddie Okech and I have been working together to try and make sure that there is peace between Narok and Migori. And we've done a lot of work, and I want to commend him for bringing this statement about the tension and the conflict. Mr. Speaker, I'd request you give me another 1 or 2 minutes to give some facts. The conflict between the Kuria and the Maasai. This is as a result of our styles of living. If you look at the Kuria, people are settled in agriculture. The Maasais were nomadic. We have had historical issues to do with the land, the boundary between Kilgoris and the Kuria and Migori County. So this is not just an issue that can be resolved by the Security Committee. I heard Senator Ojenda making comments and say the Security Committee should go there and resolve this matter. This is a matter that needs us to look at the boundary and to see which land belongs to the Kuria, which land belongs to the Maasais of Kilgoris. Because I would not sit here and expect that the Security Committee will go into that area and force away my people. You know, our people have been crying. The whole border of Kilgoris constituency, going all the way to Migori, you know, has got serious issues, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the Syria community, on the Kuria side, and the other side of the Wasingishu community, with the Luo side, it's a problem. So I think it's about time that we deal with these issues. There's been a lot of cattle raiding back and forth. The Kuria raiding our people raiding the Kuria. This is something which has been going on historically. And also, sometimes it happens because of our lifestyle. So I think it's a matter that we cannot strictly limit to 3 issues raised by my colleague. How many people have been compensated? It's not only about compensation. Because if you compensate this one to belong to the Kuria, it remains the land that belongs to the Kuria. Mr. Speaker, one other fact that is not even out here is that along that border, there is land which is no man's land, which now there is a camp, and I'm sure there is somebody very senior in this country who Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for adding
just 1 minute, kindly, you know, as I...
Let me summarize and put it this way. We have a lot of challenges in that area. There's no man's land. Land which is around maybe 3,000 acres along the Kuria-Narok border. And that one of the things that I am very happy with Senator Eddie, because we've done a lot of work together in the community. And now we're making it known that when the Security Committee goes there, when it is not only going to say compensate, what are you compensating people for? Solve the problem once and for all, so that the Kuria people can farm in their part of the land, the Maasai people can graze on the part of their land, and we solve this problem once and for all. And that no man's land, we need to be able to know which part belongs to Kenya, which part belongs to Tanzania. It's that simple. It's a boundary dispute. We've had the same boundary issues between the Wasingishu and the Syria Maasais. You know, and that one, they just fight over a small section. That, so far, has been resolved. But the part which has not been resolved is the Kuria Maasai dispute. So we cannot trivialize these matters, or we cannot say, let's just compensate them. Let's go there, solve the problem once and for all. Put a boundary. And then once we do that, we also revisit these land laws, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, right now, my people, the Maasais, are selling their land at 20,000, And then the people who are buying it are selling it again at 150 or 1 million shillings an acre. That is causing problems because once those people have sold that land and they have no land, they go back where there is a dispute and they cause problems. So we need to deal with issues, to change the laws, we zone laws such that an area, you cannot sell any land, you can only lease. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Seki.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also want to comment on the statement stated by Senator Peris Rubiko. Honorable Speaker, Kajiado people are in a very bad situation now. They are worried, it's a worried county. We have a very serious and dangerous person who is moving from one sub-county to another in Delhi, has really terrorized our people. And I'm worried, Honorable Speaker, because we have security operators, systems of this government. And I think this is the right person need to be abducted by these government's systems, not to abduct the innocent children, young men of this country who have not done anything. This is the right person to be abducted. They should now use their whole system to make sure that they are abducted Lorgali, who is raping elderly women in our county. And I think if they don't, we will definitely, Honorable Speaker, give our people authority maybe to find him. And probably they will not be there. He will be found dead. So I don't think we need to give government a chance to continue giving people who are violating the law to terrorize our citizen of Kajiado. I'm told just yesterday, one of the girls in Kajiado town, near Kajiado town, that man is there now. And I don't know what his security personnel are doing. So I think, Honorable Speaker, this is a very serious thing. And now we are worried of the health of those who have been.
Conclude 1 minute to conclude, because there is a matter touching on Kajiado County, which you represent.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I don't know what is the health now, the health of our people who have been terrorized, who have been affected by this man. The health situation. And I believe the counseling process will be started by the county and the Ministry of Health. And again, Honorable Speaker, we don't know the kind of system that we're going to put to make sure that such kind of problems that will not happen again. Otherwise, thank you very much. I don't have much to say because of time. Thank you.
Senator Mugen.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I want to comment on this idea of people who pose danger to society, who are presented before court, they are charged and released on bail. Mr. Speaker, our Constitution is very clear in Article 49, Sub-Article H, that everybody who is charged before any court of law is entitled to be released on bond or bail unless there are compelling reasons. So, Speaker, if you have a serial rapist roaming Kajiado County, that should be a compelling reason for any judicial officer not to release that person on bail. So we want to appeal to our judicial officers to also take into account public interest. Mr. Speaker, anybody who can do the kind of heinous rape crimes I witnessed in Baringo, where you are raping an 8-year-old That's based on bail or on bond, Mr. Speaker. So I want to appeal to our judicial officers. We know the judiciary is independent. We cannot direct them on what to do, but they should apply Article 49 freely. If you look at our honorable senators here, beautifully dressed, we don't want them to be at risk of being raped by serial rapists out there, Mr. Speaker. So the judiciary, as a duty, it owes us a duty as Kenyans to ensure that people who pose danger to society should have their cases heard while they are in custody. If we don't do that, Mr. Speaker, the country, if you give me 2 minutes on this issue of health. Yeah, you know, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter, you know what is before us this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, should move us to even adjourn and solely discuss this issue of our doctors committing suicide. Mr. Speaker, how can we witness in 1 year 2 intern doctors have committed suicide? Mr. Speaker, even in my own class, law class, I never saw a case where 2 of my colleagues are committing suicide within 1 year. One is Mora from Kisii, another one is in Njuki. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, our interns have not been paid their arrears of 206,000 for the month of August, September, October, November, December. How do they survive? How do these young professionals survive, Mr. Speaker? As we speak today, there is a tussle between the ministry and the county governments whether we should pay our interns 206,000 or 70 shillings. Surely, if you pay an intern 70,000, you take share, you take housing levy, you take away pay as you earn, you take away NITA, Mr. Speaker, how will these guys survive? They'll be left with no choice other than to continue committing suicide. Health is a devolved function. If the suicide cases we are seeing from our own children, because it's our children, cannot move us to do something, even to summon the CS Health to appear before us, then what is the role of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya? Surely, Mr. Speaker. Also, if you are an intern, you are seeing patients appearing, coming for treatment in a hospital, and you can't treat them. That in itself can trigger you to commit suicide, Mr. Speaker. Because we are told that the transition from NHIF to SHA, SHIF, is 46%. So where are these 54% of Kenyans getting their health services from, Mr. Speaker? We are being told, Mr. Speaker, that a patient will come to a hospital, they want to log in their SHA cards, but you are told the system cannot accept you. Or when the system accepts you, your relatives who are supposed to be beneficiaries are not in the system. I want to appeal to us, Mr. Speaker. Let's take an opportunity of this statement to convert ourselves to a committee of the whole House, and we deal with this issue around the frustrations of our interns and the functionality of this thing we call shisha. You can inform me. I accept.
Yes, inform me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to inform the distinguished senator from Nyamira County that the Health Committee has taken cognizance of the issues, and today, following our elections of chair and vice chair, we prioritize looking at county governments' budgets on healthcare, and also looking at this issue of the medical equipment schemes, and also looking at the issues of doctors. So I'd like to encourage the distinguished senator to keep an eye so that the day when we have this meeting and when we've summoned several individuals to appear then and support the matter instead of now converting the whole House into this issue, because the Health Committee is alive to this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Omugen.
That's a good initiative, and I hope Senator Ledama is a member of that committee. Please address this issue of only 62%. Over 62% of Kenyans are reporting difficulties in using that SHA SHIF portal. Yeah, portal. We should not leave National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, to run away with an issue that is devolved. If there is a function that we should be seized of as senators, look for solution, discuss passionately, then it's health. Because health is one of the most important functions that the Constitution of 2020 devolved to our counties. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the reports we are getting is that most of our private hospitals are not accepting the share cards in many of our hospitals, Mr. Speaker. And we know it, Mr. Speaker. And me, I'm speaking for the lowly of the lowly Kenyan, the person who paid 300 shillings to access share card. Mr. Speaker, if the private hospitals cannot accept these poor Kenyans, where will they get treatment, Mr. Speaker? If you visit our counties, you're from Meru, you're our cousins from the mountain. I am from Nyamira. I know the state of our public hospitals, Mr. Speaker. If we restrict the share card to public hospitals, we are denying access to health services to our people, Mr. Speaker. We need a solution. And I'm speaking passionately because I know the suffering that the people of Nyamira are going through, Mr. Speaker. SHA should be able to assist any Kenyan who is seeking treatment in a private religious health facilities. Most of the most, how do I say, most competent health facilities are run by our religious bodies. If you go to Bomet, Tenwek Hospital, treats people from Nyamira because it's run in a very competent manner, Mr. Speaker. If we leave Kenyans at the mercy of our public hospitals, Mr. Speaker, we are leaving Kenyans to die while we are watching. We will never be forgiven by Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Mohamed Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will only take 2 minutes because of the flight to Mombasa. First of all, let me thank Senator Hamida for the statement she brought in regards to medical interns. In fact, the problem is not only with medical interns, it is with all health workers in our hospitals, health centers, and dispensaries. Honorable Speaker, I went to Raila'S Hospital in Marsabit County in January. When I went to that hospital, there was a nurse working on a patient, and she didn't have gloves. She was wearing plastic paper to treat a young boy who was very, very ill. And, Honorable Speaker, that boy needed some infusions, and the pipe that is supposed to help that young boy was not available in that hospital. It has to be shipped or transported all the way from Meru, and it has to come the following day. That is the situation our health workers are working under. Having said that, let me also say the issues in our hospitals are not only on interns and medical health workers. Today we have a problem in Marsabit. We lost three people yesterday, 3 lives. There is a disease called Kalaza carried by mosquitoes, and 25 people are now under medication. The kits for testing Kalaza is not available in Marsabit County. And I want the government to note that the people of Marsabit are suffering, dying in numbers. So I want, first of all, to thank the KEMRI Director General. I spoke to him this morning, and he has already dispatched his team to Marsabit. And I want also the Ministry of Health, the Minister, to take note. Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to take less than a minute. I want to take note, I want CS Health to take note that there are people in Marsabit dying as we speak. He must dispatch his team to Marsabit and a place called Logologo, specifically Harare, in Shur, Jaldesa, and also Laisamis. Our people are suffering. I would also want to ask even the President to please take note that the people of Marsabit are going to be having a lot of issues on the Kalaza issue. And having said that, let me thank again Senator Hamida for the statement. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Esther Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First, I wish to commend you for always being considerate, especially to members, in allocating time to comment. For that, I'm grateful, because on several instances I've spoken in this House was courtesy of you. Secondly...
Hey, that's malicious.
That's not malicious. That's not malicious, because you have greatly contributed to giving young people platform to showcasing what they can offer. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the statement by Senator Hamida, we have so many young people who are frustrated out here, and not just the medical interns. I think we as leaders need a conversation around it so that we do not lose or continue losing young people to such. Secondly, on the rape aspect, not just for Kajiado County, we have rape cases reported countrywide, but I think serious action has not been taken also. I also feel we should not send people to report to police, because the moment you're sending them to report to police, most times at those stations, the officers there are very reluctant to actually take action, or sometimes they are compromised because the perpetrators are well known or they are people of means, so it actually becomes a challenge. I think Mwanainchi should take radical action themselves. In as much as that might sound extreme, maybe that will sound as a wake-up call so that we have that conversation in this country. Lastly, the statement by Senator Eddy on the border clashes. The clashes have been happening in very many parts of the country. You see Chepilat area, you see Keroka, Nyamira. Most of those clashes, when you look at them, it's issues to do with border disputes, land, or theft of cattle. Maybe...
Give us 1 minute.
Okay. I like the proposal by Senator Ledama of actually taking the initiative to sit down with Senator Eddy and other leaders, and we should borrow this to other areas we are having these border conflicts, like Kisumu, Keroka area, so that we solve these issues internally, other than let them escalate and affect very innocent people who otherwise shouldn't have been part of the crisis. Thank you.
Senator John Medu, also known as Gitunga.
Such a good name to introduce me with, Honorable Speaker, and I want to indulge you with the utmost humility that you allow me to comment on the statement that has been sought by Senator Dulo. That I know it's under 52, and that's why I'm asking for your kind indulgence, just as you indulge Senator Osotsi. I'll spend my 2 minutes, very, very effectively. And because I have not gotten an opportunity, I also want to join my colleagues in celebrating the life of Senator Cheptumo, whom I served with at the Committee on Lands. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Honorable Speaker, I also would not want to discuss as to the reason why there has been heckling across the country on meetings that have been attended by the President. Honorable Speaker, it is common knowledge that people express their displeasure in different ways, Honorable Speaker. But I am more concerned, even as we look at this matter, as to why anybody would round up people after a meeting and you want to arrest people and take them to court because they heckled you or because they expressed displeasure when you attended a meeting, Honorable Speaker. How would the police actually identify the people who attended that particular meeting? If indeed these are people who are known, why can't they be stopped before the meeting, Honorable Speaker? And Honorable Speaker, I want to say this way. I have seen that part of the reporting of the motion that we had yesterday here about Kenya's attempt to clinch the AUC position, Honorable Speaker, senators were actually condemning Kenyans who celebrated that particular loss, Honorable Speaker. I would want to say this, Honorable Speaker. It is my opinion that Kenyans never celebrated because Raila Odinga lost. A section of the Kenyans who celebrated, they actually celebrated because they actually feel and they believe that William Ruto lost that particular election, because it is William Ruto who was the person who was fronting Raila Odinga, Honorable Speaker. It is our responsibility, Honorable Speaker, to be very, very happy when William Ruto is sad.
A comment on a statement now is not open to a debate on a motion which was concluded yesterday.
Yeah,
so you will not benefit from an extra minute.
No, it's a comment on this statement, Honorable Speaker. I'm not going outside.
Yeah, because you are now taking advantage of.
No, I'm not going. I know that one may hurt you, Honorable Speaker, but allow me.
It's not hurting me, but I'm just wondering.
It will of course hurt you, but I will restrain myself to the content of this particular motion, Honorable Speaker. This particular statement. I will not go to discussing as to whether William Ruto lost. But I would want to say, Honorable Speaker, yeah, I can be informed. If you want to inform me, you can inform me. No, Speaker, if you allow, I can be informed.
You know, I'm just observing your behavior, because Senator Tabitha, what is it you want to do? To read your statement? Let him conclude. You want to inform him?
Yeah, because I think it's really unprofessional or pretense for Senator Methu to say that the candidate we had in AU, was His Excellency Dr. William Ruto. Surely, if we look at the ballot, we didn't see any name of His Excellency Dr. William. So you cannot come and lie Kenyans. Yeah, you can't come and lie Kenyans that Dr. William was the one who was the candidate of AU. Even His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga said very well. He's the one who said he wanted that position. What Dr. William did was only to assist and campaign for him. So differentiate the two issues. Don't lie Kenyans that you think they are not well educated. They are well informed. And they read newspapers and they see things.
So, Senator Methu, conclude on the statement.
Yeah, you need to actually be inducting your members. That would not be information. Maybe that would be a point of order. And if that is being exuded by the deputy leader of majority, you know that people behave, or how people take you, or how people feel when you are attending a meeting and when you are having a rally in their area. It is your responsibility to go and to speak to them. It is their responsibility to feel whatever they want to feel. If they feel happy about you, it's okay. If they heckle you, it's okay. It's not every time, because people don't believe in whatever you're saying, that you want them to clap for you. They cannot clap for you every time, because over time they will know that you are lying to them. And over time they will express that anger. So let people tell the truth.
Actually, you are right. Also, there is somewhere else, even people tear-gassing other people even speaking. It's so people express in different way. I agree with you. Senator Tabitha Karanja, yes. Let me conclude, then you read the statement. Only 2 minutes.
Speaker, I rise to comment. I wish I could comment about my own statement, but I can't, by the rule of the House. But I want to thank Senator Edama, and I want to thank Senator Sifuna, Senator Okenyuri, and all the senators who contributed to that statement, because it's a very important statement that has led to a lot of loss of lives in Kuria and in the Masai side. Mr. Speaker, very quickly, let me comment about the statement by Senator Amida Kibwana. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with this House that we need to do a serious inquiry on the state of affairs in our medical facilities, where our medical interns are. Because, Mr. Speaker, for somebody to become a medical intern, it means that they are really, really committed to become a doctor. That is what it means, because the work that is involved for somebody to go through the rigorous studies, the simulations in different studies institutions, and become a medical intern, they're actually very committed to become a medical doctor. But the problem that we have, Mr. Speaker, other than the ones that are known, of course the ones that are known are usually 3. the issue of delayed payments that we have talked about, and many people have talked about here, I don't want to belabor, the issue of lack of proper allowances, given the work that they do. Some of them do a long night problems that they keep on solving, and the issue of poor working environment. Other than this, Mr. Speaker, because I have been very close to a number of medical interns in this country, Mr. Speaker, the corruption that is in our medical field is extremely big. Do you know, Mr. Speaker, that 90% of medical interns in this country perform procedures without supervision? And if they call a consultant to come and take care of them during those supervisions, the way they are treated by those consultants, because those consultants don't want to leave their private practice. Mr. Speaker, this issue of private practice in this country is something that must be dealt with. Because the issue of burnout that medical interns end up experiencing is predominantly because of that element of private practice that doctors don't want to give and consultants don't want to give medical interns the support that they need. And they end up having serious burnout, they end up being mistreated, and in some cases, they end up being very under-equipped to the extent that they are exposed to risks that then leads to this kind of frustrations. Mr. Speaker, despite the fact that it is seen that only 2 medical interns have died out of suicidal means, Mr. Speaker, other mental disorders that are coming in this country, Mr. Speaker, are untold. I want to urge this House, on the basis of what Senator Amida has brought to this House, can we, as a House, bring a serious motion and form a special committee to be able to actually do a proper investigation on the status of medical interns when they join work up to when they leave? Who are they assigned to? Who are their supervisors? Who is assisting them? And how are they treated in those places of work? Because this is very important. Otherwise, we are getting serious.
Thank you, Senator Okech. So I will allow you to read out your statement understanding under 53(1).
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53(1) to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations regarding mysterious murders and disappearance of residents of Nakuru County. In the statement, the committee should explain the circumstances leading to the unfortunate murder on 18th January 2025 of the renowned political activist by the name Richard Raymond, alias Moro President, which occurred a few meters from a Bagon police station in Molo, and state any efforts put in place to bring the perpetrators to book. Appraise the Senate on the mysterious disappearance of Brian Odhiambo from police custody on 18th January 2025 and whose whereabouts remain unknown to date, highlighting any efforts to establish his whereabouts. Explain the circumstances leading to the disappearance from the mortuary in Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital of the body of 7-month-old baby, Mercy Chepngeno, and state any measures in place to trace it, and outline any strategies by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to improve the security situation in Molo and Bagon as well as Nakuru town and in its environs following those tragic incidences. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, honorable senators, I want to, from order number 9, the mover is not allowed. Then order number 10, 11, 12, those are divisions. We have no much to do that. And orders from Under number 13, all the way to 22. Also, the owners of the bills and motions are not in the House. Therefore, that will be the end of our business today. Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the under paper, the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, 25th February 2025 at 2:30 p.m.